O's fans, Jordan Westburg is hurt again and again. Now, we knew that he had woke up one day with a abdomen strain. We knew that. We knew that. His elbow? His elbow. Now it's his elbow. And we have an update on that. In addition, I am going to say my final farewell to Grayson Rodriguez. And that's coming up too. I got some folks on the record. I got some video. And again, I'm going to bow out and say goodbye to Grayson Rodriguez. I'm sure you're all thrilled. I know Michael Sullivan, if you're watching, you're thrilled. The Joe Rossano's Orioles report is next. Welcome to Joe Rossano's Orioles report for Michael Sullivan and the birthday boy, Matt Faulkner. Happy birthday, Matt Faulkner. Jordan Westburg's hurt again. I mean, now it's his elbow. So we do have breaking news here. Okay. Orioles infielder Jordan Westburg has partial tear of the UCL in his right elbow. Will get treatment instead of surgery. I'm going to take you back to 2024. Anybody who listened to Joe Rossano's Orioles report on Facebook Live knows that on Valentine's Day 2024, over 2 years ago, when it came to Kyle Bradish, I said, shut him down. Shut the young man down now. Do not give him platelet injections and rehab and throw him back out there. Okay? Man, I'm on the record saying that. Injections, rehab, shut him down in May. They just shut him down when I said shut him down. It would have been about 1 year and 3 months. He would have probably been back in April of 2025 instead of almost August of 2025, if not August 2025. Now, there is good news, believe it or not. Jordan Westburg's not a pitcher. It's not a pitcher. I assume that's good news. I really do. Look, this young man, a great player. Wow. All-star caliber player. I honestly thought this was his Mike Schmidt year on his way to the Hall of Fame. I really did. He's that good. And he's injured again. He's missed about 100 to 120 games in his short career due to injury. And, I mean, now I brought up the birthday guy, Matt Faulkner, because this wasn't hustle, I don't think. I mean, the oblique strain, he was sleeping, I imagine wasn't hustle. And I'm not real sure, where we are now. Westburg, let's see, entered camp. Compliments, hold on, of the Baltimore Banner. I figure I'd give him a plug. Westburg entered camp with an oblique injury that slowed his timeline to appear in games. So they were gonna have him available in spring training and certainly for opening day. And now, my goodness. And here's what they say. Kobe Mayo could see increased playing time at third base. And Blaze Alexander, Luis Vasquez, and Jeremiah Jackson are also options because, as you know, Jackson Holiday's out too. Hamate bone strain. A broken hamate bone. And, let's say he got surgery on the 20th of February, okay? The 20th of March, 20th of April. That's 2 months. Now, we're going to be talking about rehab and, maybe extended spring training, et cetera. But there went possibly 2 all-star caliber infielders right there. And if Jordan Westburg is gone for the season, let Kobe Mayo play third base, Mr. Elias. Let him play. If he's that good, we'll deal him at the trade deadline for the pitcher you should have got in the first place. Sorry about that, Mr. Elias. I generally don't like to raise my voice. But this is it's really bad news for the Orioles. High expectations. You bring in the polar bear. You bring in Taylor Ward, and I will certainly get to that in a moment. Okay, you got what they say is a healthy Tyler O'Neill. You got Samuel Basallo starting the season. Beavers, happy about that. Gunnar Henderson, hopefully he's Gunnar Henderson again. Hopefully Adley Rutschman is Adley Rutschman again. some high expectations. And, I got to tell you, Joe Rossano's Orioles report is fans talking to other fans, right? And I got to tell you, as a fan, I'm Westburg fan. Jordan Westburg fan. This is unfortunate. And, where it leaves the Orioles, they either have to go out and get a third baseman, okay, an everyday guy, going to cost a lot of money. Let Kobe Mayo play third base. Seriously. Remember Billy Bean, the late Billy Bean, a president of baseball operations, general manager of the Oakland Athletics? You remember Moneyball? His defense doesn't matter. I'm saying that. Of course it matters, guys. I mean, he's playing third base. Yeah, his defense matters. But now what? I always say that to Mr. Elias, if you're watching, sir. Now what, sir? Now what? Okay, it's time for me to ask you to please like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, like all that good stuff for all the latest episodes of Joe Rossano's Orioles Report with the brilliant Michael Sullivan, the handsome birthday guy, Matt Faulkner. We really appreciate it. It allows us to continue bringing you this really great content. So if you could click that subscribe button, we just graciously appreciate it. Speaking of graciously, get it graciously? I'm putting Grayson Rodriguez to bed after this. My wife and I made an agreement, okay? She said, look, you could talk about Grayson Rodriguez all you want, sweetie, but you're going to live somewhere else. Or you put him to bed on your next podcast and you could stay here. And Michael Sullivan, if you're watching, I cannot imagine this hurt your feelings. So here we go. We're going to start here. Obviously, I don't like the Grayson Rodriguez Taylor Ward trade. I still don't. Okay. Now, Michael Sullivan and I, one of my co-hosts, he disagreed. And I don't think he likes me talking about it either. Him or Cage Stroud, roll it.
A list of people they didn't sign because that's bullshit. And who cares?
What do you mean? The biggest need that the team needed most was a front end starting pitcher. No Peralta, no Valdez, no Gallen, no Suarez, for crying out loud. And they traded Grayson Rodriguez and Cage Stroud.
My God, if you mention Cage Stroud one more time in the same breath as Grayson Rodriguez, Joe, I am never coming back on this show. Cage Stroud pitched 25 innings. Hans Kraus pitched 25 games for the Angels in 2024. Cage Stroud is nothing. Can we never talk about him again? For God's sake. Never. Never again do I want to hear that name.
I think he'll be back. I got an email from him, said that, he'll see us on the next shooting day. So stay tuned for that. He looked pretty mad. But no, it's a couple of guys, arguing about baseball. That happens. I thought it was funny. I actually liked it but I got a bunch of messages saying, what's going on? What happened? Man, was that real? Michael's basically like, keep Grayson Rodriguez out your bleeping mouth. I thought he was going to come on stage and slap me. So we're going to start with Jimmy Riley, the guy with the backwards hat on YouTube. We like Jimmy Riley here. Roll it.
This makes absolutely no sense that Taylor Ward and his 30 to 35 home runs is going to the Orioles for Grayson Rodriguez. I keep saying it, and I can't make myself believe that this is actually happening. The Orioles need pitching.
See what I'm saying? Couldn't have said it better myself, Mr. Riley. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you for that, Jimmy. Ben McDonald. Roll it.
You give up a guy that 4 years of club control versus a guy that's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. That's a little bit of a surprise. If you would have asked me, and I said this many times, that the number one pickup I think the Orioles had to achieve this offseason was starting pitching. Like that, yes, they did do it out a right-handed bat. We know that. They did need an outfield right-handed bat. But I thought that might be number 2 on the list. And to see them give up a starter at the big league level surprised me in some ways.
Hey, Joe, what are you so hung up on Grayson Rodriguez and Cage Stroud for? Are you related to them? Are they buddies of yours? Were they in your wedding? No, they're pitchers. That's what I'm upset about. In the grand scheme of the Orioles team, folks, let you know what this roster looks like. I was excited a couple of weeks ago, but let me tell you what brings me a bit of chagrin here. Okay, you have Alonso, Mountcastle. They just gave $7 million. Comment and tell me why they did that. Kobe Mayo and Samuel Basayo, who's going to be playing some first base or DH when he's not catching. Obviously, Adley Rutschman is still the number one catcher. So Alonso, ready? You'll love this. $7 million Mountcastle, who had 33 home runs in 2021, had 7 last season. Mayo, who they don't seem to let play unless they absolutely have to. I hope manager Albernez, skipper, I hope you do the right thing by the young man now. Samuel Basayo. They got a log jam at first base, okay? Michael Sullivan, if you're watching, we talked about that. That's something we actually agreed on. I'm going to shock anyone here. Now, Taylor Ward. Now you got a log jam out there, too. Basically, they call Taylor Ward Tyler O'Neill 2.0. Taylor Ward is Tyler O'Neill who doesn't get hurt as much, but we just don't know. Now, what I can tell you is Tyler O'Neill is healthy right now, okay? We got Pete Alonso, right? You got Adley, you got Gunnar, you got Beavers, you got Calzer. You're going to have Holiday back, right? You don't need Taylor Ward, respectfully. Don't need him to win. What do you need? Ben McDonald will tell you that. You need a starting pitcher. You're darn right, Ben. You're darn right. Getting a right-handed power bat, as Ben McDonald said, should have been number 2 on the list. Now, they trade Grayson Rodriguez. Okay, here's where I think it gets a little hazy, Michael. The Orioles had one of the most abysmal pitching staffs, if not the worst, in the history of the franchise last year. Okay. Now, Grayson Rodriguez. Let me say this. When he got recalled from the minors in July 2023, till he threw his very last pitch, 43 starts, 20-8, 238 innings, 259 strikeouts. Anybody out there who knows anything about this game knows that is ace stuff. That is front of the rotation stuff. 259 strikeouts and 238 and 2/3 innings over 43 starts, 20-8. Okay. Now, Michael, I think here's the disconnect. I think here's where we're going to partially agree, and here's where I think you're going to come back on here and we're going to scream at each other again. I think the Orioles got to a point, right, where they figured that Grayson Rodriguez he's just injury prone. He is never going to go out there and make 32, 33 starts and pitch 150, 175, 200 innings ever. I mean, we've had this young man, as Michael will tell you, 8 years, 5 years in the minors, right? He pitched 50 innings a season, 50 innings, 3 innings in 5 years. Okay. I see what you're saying, Michael. I see what you're saying. 50 innings a season in the minor leagues, that's not good. And then you come up here and you're injured all the time and all last season. If it's not a lat, it's this, it's that. And some critics argue, he's on his way to Tommy John. Okay, so now I get it. Taylor Ward, for a guy who just can't seem to stay healthy. But, okay, now here's my but, Michael, and anybody else watching. What do the Orioles talk about all winter long, the entire offseason, and everybody? We did this, all right? 105.7, Ryan Ripken, you name it, that nice fella Ferguson, everybody. Framber Valdez. The Orioles are right in the mix for Framber Valdez, okay? Orioles are possibly considering Zach Gallen. There could be a trade possibility for Freddie Peralta. Now, that's what I'm upset about. Right there. Right there. And yeah, run down that list. I am going to run down the list because they shouldn't have got Taylor Ward. Okay. They should have. They were going to trade Grayson Rodriguez. Can you hold on to him for about 10 minutes until you get Framber Valdez? Until you sign Zach Gallen, until you trade him and Kobe Mayo, et cetera, for Freddie Peralta? Could you have done that first? Because according to Ben McDonald, okay, not only a broadcaster for the Orioles, was a quality starting pitcher for the Orioles in the late 80s, early 90s. He understands that should not have been their top priority as a right-handed hitting outfielder for a front line starting pitcher, a front-end guy with 4 years of control. And it's the 4 years of control I think bothers some of you, Michael, if you're watching. I don't care. Let him be a free agent at the end of the year. Let him be a free agent. Okay. I still keep Grayson Rodriguez. So now this is what we got. Okay. Think about this, folks. You have Kyle Bradish. I love him. Kyle, if you're watching, come on the show. We love you here. Phenomenal. Front of the rotation guy coming off Tommy John surgery. Okay. You got Trevor Rogers. Phenomenal. Well, 1.6 ERA. Pitches 3.6 ERA. It's going to be close enough for me. Okay. No postseason experience, blah, blah, etc. No problem. Not a deal breaker. Okay. Now, you got Shane Baz. I like him. Coming off Tommy John a couple of years ago himself. You have Zach Eflin, who they brought back, and I was glad they did. I really was. Now, I'm glad we got Zach Eflin. Opening day starter 2025, Zach Eflin. He's coming off surgery. And no Valdez, no Gallen, no Suarez, no Peralta, no Mackenzie Gore. You sign a guy who will be 37 this coming Sunday, and some people are claiming he's an innings eater. Maybe he was an innings eater, but, I will say this. I mean, look, I'm not saying age or one thing had to do with another, but he did go on the injured list the last 10 days of the season. Okay, I want to make that very clear, okay, in case I got a testifying court over that one. And he did not make any starts. Well, he missed the division series, the ALDS. And then when he did come back, and he pitched very well out of the bullpen, but that's where he was. He did not start any postseason games. So now, you look at the roster, you got a log jam in the outfield. You're going to see a Lowenstein-type Gary Renicky thing in right field with Tyler Ward and Dylan Beavers. That doesn't break my heart, but, you might have to Google that one. Taylor Ward, he's playing every day. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Cage Stroud, again, here's my argument about this minor leagues as major leagues and a small sample size, 25 innings in the major leagues, is somebody, okay, of the, I don't know, 1,000 guys that want to pitch in the minor leagues, okay, who didn't make the team. Of all the guys, I should say, on the Orioles minor league roster, Cage Stroud got chosen to get promoted. Somebody thought he was pretty good. Somebody thought he was pretty good to promote him. I know that they didn't have much of a choice. Joe Rossano was on his way to Baltimore at that point to pitch. 25 outings, 26 innings, 1 home run allowed, 1.77 ERA. You had the worst pitching in the history of pitching last season, and you trade your pitcher with the numbers I just read, and a guy who pitched to an ERA under 2, and you wonder why I'm unhappy. Really, you got a starting pitching staff. 2 guys had Tommy John surgery in their career. 1 guy is coming off surgery. Okay, you got a 37-year-old And you got Dean Kramer, number 5 guy. Shane Baz was one of the guys I had mentioned with the Tommy John surgery he had, I think, in 2023. And you have a log jam in the outfield and a log jam at first base. You got 4 first basemen. And then you went out and got Blaze Alexander. Jackson Holiday is not going to be hurt that long. And Blaze Alexander, I mean, is he going to be our everyday third baseman? Is he? So, Grayson Rodriguez, if you're watching, sir, I wish you and your family all the best. I'm not going to bring you up anymore. I'm over this now, but I had to bring this up now because, I looked into it. We had some good arguments on either side. Some people agree with me. Some people did not. Some people agree with you, Michael. And at the end of the day, yeah, that's the Orioles just said, hey, you know what? We give up. This fella's just hurt too much. We better get something right now for him. But time will tell. Time will tell. I'm very interested to see how Grayson Rodriguez pitches this year because I wanted some of those crab cakes from Michael Sullivan from Jimmy's. Speaking of Michael Sullivan will be at the game on March 26th, and we'll be live here. And Michael's going to check in with us down at Oriole Park, Camden Yards, starting at 2 o'clock, March 26th, Orioles versus the Minnesota Twins. We're going to be here pregame live from 2 p.m. And then after the last pitch of the game, we're going to do postgame. We're going to let you call in and tell me how funny I talk and funny I look and about my necklaces and my bracelets. And, of course, tell Michael Sullivan's how wrong he is. And, we're going to leave Matt Faulkner alone. We don't want to say anything about Matt Faulkner. Once again, I graciously and wholeheartedly really appreciate, as does Michael Sullivan, Matt Faulkner, appreciate you kindly taking some time to watch our Orioles report here because we are fans, okay, talking with and to the fans. Once again, as always, those fans, God bless you. Please like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell for all latest episodes. Joe Rossano's Orioles Report, Michael Sullivan, and Matt Faulkner. Again, God bless you. Please, those fans, don't forget to adopt a pet, and we'll see you next time.